Hey guys, Pie Guy Rules here, and I just watched the Adventure Time episode, A Glitch is a Glitch. My head hurts. Does anyone else's head hurt? Because mine does a little bit. The episode aired as an April Fool's Day episode, and Cartoon Network even in the promotions wouldn't show any clips for it. The promotions were just clips from other episodes saying, we can't even show you what's on next week's Adventure Time. And it worked, except for the fact that the episode kind of leaked like at least a week early online. Nice going there, Cartoon Network, so a little bit of it was spoiled for me. However, if you were just tuning in and you saw that CGI Adventure Time, like, just mind-blowing. I mean, even when I first, even reading a little bit about it online, which I didn't mean to do, I didn't think the episode was out, it's just, it kind of was, and people had already seen it and reviewed it. But even still, my head was just spinning from the information, and then from watching the episode. It was crazy. And yeah, it's an April Fool's Day episode, but it's still an actual episode, and honestly, I think it deserves to be looked at fairly closely because there is a lot going on here. So here I am to kind of break down the episode for you guys, because I don't know really how I feel about it. I don't know if I kind of like the episode, if I kind of don't like the episode. All I know is that I think it was a really bizarre concept, and I really applaud Adventure Time for trying something like this. But was it good? Was it bad? Well, let's dig in and find out. So the episode begins with a computer-generated version of the theme song, which is really cool. The last time they did this was for the 2 gender-bent episodes with Fiona and Cake, and it's really interesting to see the theme song kind of bend to show how weird this episode is going to be. So I guess the first thing I should really talk about is how the CGI is. It's awesome. It really is amazing. Now, mind you, it's not like super detailed or high textured or anything. It's not like, you know, the kind of computer graphics you're going to see in like Kung Fu Panda the movie or anything. But for what it is quite beautiful. How simplistic it is and the colors and everything, and even the movements and animation, it really feels like Adventure Time done in computer generated graphics. And it's got its own unique style. I don't really know if I'd want to see an entire series done with this very minimalist model design and everything, but for this one episode, it really shines, and it really pulls the episode together. If it didn't have good-looking animation, it wouldn't be enjoyable. And not just the character design and the backgrounds and everything. The actual animation portion, you know, when the characters move their legs around and everything, it is very much Adventure Time. They definitely captured the feel of Adventure Time in a 3D space. So after the theme song, the episode starts off with a title card, as all Adventure Time episodes do, except this title card is really sloppy. It looks like someone kind of scribbled it in KidPix, and same goes with the credits at the beginning. And obviously this is very intentional, but it is just so bizarre to see after the beautifully drawn title cards, to see this mishmash of glitched out mess that looks like it was computer generated is really weird. The episode starts out on a computer where Finn and Jake are drawing a picture of the Ice King and what looks like, I'm going to call it KidPix because that's the program that I'm familiar with. If you don't know, KidPix is kind of like, well, it was something they taught in like elementary school as an easy way to kind of get comfortable around computers, but basically it's a very basic drawing simulator where you can draw and do basic shapes and do all sorts of little doodles on. It's a fun program if you've ever get the chance to check it out. In this version, though, Finn can animate, and he tries to animate the Ice King, but Jake doesn't like it. Finn then says that animation's hard, and whoever does it must be a big loser. And then he punches himself in the chest, and he asks himself why he did that. Yeah, that's the second strange thing about this episode, behind the different CGI style, is the fact that they make some meta jokes here. A cinder block gets thrown through Finn and Jake's window, containing a floppy disk that looks like it was sent by the Ice King. So of course they plug it into their computer, and it's a video of a girl eating her own hair and gagging on it. I think this might be a reference to several dirty videos on the internet, like 2 Girls, 1 Cup, but I'm not sure. I mean, maybe this is an actual reference to an actual video. As it turns out, it is an actual reference to an actual animated video made by the guy who wrote, directed, and animated the episode, David O'Reilly. Well, after watching the disgusting video of a girl eating her own hair, Finn and Jake start flipping out, and if you don't believe me and that the animation is beautiful and that it totally captures Adventure Time, just look at Finn and Jake's reactions to this video. They are amazing. Uh-oh. The Ice King's floppy disk contained a virus that starts spreading into the real world, and stuff starts getting deleted and all sorts of weird glitches start happening. And if you don't believe me on how weird this episode is, the computer glitches look like genuine glitches that you would find when watching a TV or when watching a video on the internet. It is ridiculously believable to the point where watching this, you would actually believe your TV or computer screen is bugging out. And it also contains a bit of genius that this episode was totally in CGI because, well, Finn and Jake are technically in a computer this episode. So is all of Ooo. So the fact that the virus is spreading to the quote-unquote real world is really just a virus in the computer that's simulating their lives. So Finn and Jake go to Princess Bubblegum for help, but they find that the Ice King is also there, and he knows about the computer virus. He specifically planted it there to delete everything except for him and Princess Bubblegum so that they'd go on a date, because the princess said that she'd go on a date with him if he was the last person in Ooo. She probably didn't actually say that, but that's what the Ice King thinks. But yeah, the glitch is spreading rapidly out of control, and it's affecting all the candy people. Their faces start getting all distorted and glitching out. They start running around screaming. The backgrounds start disappearing. All sorts of really weird glitches start happening. Jake falls asleep and gets the idea that Finn should just go up and talk to the glitch, because why not, right? So Finn and Jake start bunching up the glitches and make it form a face. The face starts talking to them, but it's in gibberish, except for the subtitles, which appear to Finn and Jake backwards. Finn and Jake decide to dive right into the big clump of glitch lying in the corner, and when they do, I can't even begin to describe this, guys. Think some kind of screensaver mixed with any sort of acid sequence you've seen in any kind of computer animation, like weird colors, weird computery sounds, just weirdness happens until Finn and Jake are finally materialized in this weird computery world. Finn says that they're in the universal source code and sees Princess Bubblegum and the Ice King's little hexagonal bits frozen to signify that they won't be affected by this. Jake comes across a spider's hexagon and a snake's hexagon, puts them together and creates this really weird looking spider snake thing in the regular world. Finn says that the hexagons must be the building blocks of the universe, and is anyone else thinking of Wreck-It Ralph right now? Because it reminds me of the source code in that game. If anyone's seen that movie, well, I guess the idea that everything in a world is just contained in some sort of weird representative computer space is not really a new concept now, is it? But needless to say, it is very weird. Jake spots the monster that is the glitch, and oh my god, that thing is designed awesomely. It's just a bunch of, like, all these weird pixels and mishmash of colors that constantly change. His angry eyebrows are two mouse pointers. Mac mouse pointers, by the way. But yeah, weird character design. So then we get back to Princess Bubblegum, who's loading up her candy horse tranquilizer as the Ice King tries to come in for his date. She shoots him multiple times, but that doesn't really have an effect, and he's like, "But come on, you promised. If I was the last person on Ooo, you'd go on a date with me." And she's like, "Even if I said that, I would still be here, so technically you wouldn't be the last person." And then she starts making out with her hand. Like, really making out with her hand, and making very suggestive noises. When the Adventure Time cast are given their scripts, they're often not really given much of a context for what's actually going on in the episode. I really wonder what they told the actress who played Bubblegum. Okay, so you're gonna make out with your hand right now. Make sounds as if you're making out with your hand. And it's just the weirdest thing, because not only is she making out with her hand, the Ice King's watching and he's like, like he's like as if he's watching something really creepy, and I gotta say, it is really creepy. Bubblegum in her hand. It's apparently a shipping thing now. So we're back to Finn and Jake in the weird source code world, and Jake's arm is glitched off. Jake has a montage memory of the good times that he's had with his arm, which include using it as a kite, and then he's like, "We have to avenge Righty." And then Finn's like, "Yeah." And then he almost says Adventure Time. He's like, "Adventure Time!" And then he gets cut off. Which I only point out because apparently he hasn't said Adventure Time since Season 1. Weird, right? You'd think it'd be more than that. Well, it gets cut off because he starts to glitch out. And then we go back to Bubblegum and Ice King. Ice King's making a bunch of ice statues. Bubblegum's still making out with her hand. The Ice King's like, "Hey, lady, I want some attention." And Bubblegum goes over to him, gets down on her knees in front of his, crotch, starts to pull up his cloak, and then ties it over his head, pushes him to the ground, and kicks him in the face. Whew, thought that was going to a creepy territory for a minute. And the entire time, Ice King's like, "Are you praying to me? 'Cause I'm into this." This episode is weird, man, and not just for the glitches. So Princess Bubblegum's kicking him in the face, demanding to know where the antivirus is, but Whoops, the Ice King didn't make one, so everything's gonna be deleted. We cut back to Finn, who's now just a head holding a sword, riding on top of Jake's limbless body. Finn comes up with a plan to destroy the glitch, and then we get a title card that says, 1 second later. The joke being that the 1 second later title card lasts for nearly 20 seconds. It's also, like, super stylized, and it looks all shiny and nice compared to the KidPix-esque drawings of the rest of the title cards in the episode. Then we get an awesome action scene where Jake morphs into a giant hand who holds Finn's head, who's holding the sword, and they slice up the virus. But unfortunately, it does nothing. Finn and Jake are just reduced to heads, and they try to come up with an idea. Nothing comes to them until, the girl eating her hair glitches onto the screen for a split second, until they get the idea that if they show the glitch that video, the glitch will probably throw up all of its contents and make the world go back to normal. But since they can't show the video, Finn and Jake both start eating Finn's hair. Luckily though, it's all pixelated and glitched out and we can't really see it. The glitch does throw up all of its contents, which are really cool rainbow-looking hexagons. And then really weird stuff happens, man. The glitch gets thrown out of what looks like some kind of rainbow intestines into all these random numbers. Then there's this weird-looking panda with one eye, and then there's like a triangle with a butt in it, and a face, and a guy, and just all sorts of random stuff happens. Then we get a buffering icon, which turns rainbow and then loads back up Ooh, with all its creatures and inhabitants intact, including Finn and Jake still eating Finn's hair. Ugh, gross, man. Finn and Jake find Princess Bubblegum in the Ice King's lair, smashing up his computer to make sure this never happens again. Princess Bubblegum thanks them for saving the day, and then Princess Bubblegum's hand, which now has eyes, starts talking to Jake's arm, which has a face, and they start flirting, and Jake's hand asks Princess Bubblegum's hand if she's been playing tongue hockey with someone else, and Finn interrupts and asks where the Ice King is, saying that he wants to kick him in the boing loings, which is a nice callback, by the way. We cut back to Ice King, who was trapped, halfway materialized into a house, and the weird spider-snake hybrid, it's actually a spider with snakes for arms, jumps on top of his face and starts just doing whatever. Then we get the credits, which is a little bit of a making of, in that it's pretty much scenes from the episode, but like partially made, partially rendered, which totally adds to the surrealness, and a really weird song plays. Oh, also, the snail appears in the hexagon in the credits at the very end. And that was the Adventure Time episode, A Glitch is a Glitch. What did I think? Honestly, this episode was really cool. I mean, I've gushed about it before, but the animation and the graphics are beautiful. They capture Adventure Time perfectly, and they are fun and interesting to look at. This is the kind of computer graphics that I would prefer. Again, I don't know if I'd want to see it for a full series, but I really like this style. My only complaint with it is the fact that their whites seemed a little bit too white, like Finn's hat was a little bit on the blinding side, and it blended in with the clouds in one scene. But I guess that could have also just been my TV. Everything else about the episode was awesome too. The plot was uniquely surreal, even for an Adventure Time episode. It really brought its A game. And yes, not everything makes entire amounts of sense, but it's a cartoon. You gotta roll with some of these things. If you're not into bizarre episodes, well, you're really not gonna be into this. The music's great too. You may not notice it because, like the rest of Adventure Time's background music, it keeps itself in the background. It always has some good beeps and boops for you, but it never tries to overcome the actual episode, which is great. If you actually pay attention to it, it's really interesting. It's also pretty impressive knowing that this whole episode was the brainchild of just one dude. I mean, yes, a lot of other people worked on it, but the one guy wrote the script, was the director, he did a lot of stuff, and that's really cool. Overall, it'll probably go down as one of my favorite Adventure Time episodes. Yes, it's got a lot of really weird things about it, but honestly, that's what makes it so enjoyable. Not just the glitches, the fact that there's a scene of Bubblegum making out with her hand. Like, what is up with that? I can't figure it out. I don't think it makes any kind of sense whatsoever, but who cares? It's interesting, weird, and funny. And you gotta give it up to Cartoon Network for allowing Adventure Time to pull these kind of stunts. Cartoon Network could have babied out and just said, you know, this is a little bit too weird for our network, we don't want to do this. That's honestly what Nickelodeon would have done. But no, Cartoon Network's given Adventure Time the space it needs to grow and develop its own style. It's episodes like this is why I really love Adventure Time and why I really think it is one of the, if not the best cartoons of all time. Well, I hope this review cleared a few things up for you, and if not, I hope you enjoyed it at the very least. Pie Guy Rules, out. Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe if you like me, like this video if you, well, like this video, and comment if you have an opinion on anything that I just said. Oh, and I also have a Twitter. Follow me at PieGuyRules. I usually respond to any comments or questions that I get. PieGuyRules,